Call to, excuse me, call to order this special called meeting of the Siloam Springs Board of Directors, October 1st, 2025. Roll call.
Blair. Burns. Here. Wiles. Hunt. Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
We do have a quorum. So at this time, I will just let the public know that we are not going to be having an executive session this evening. As is listed on the agenda, we will be having just an open discussion. And so with that, Christina, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This evening we have Jason Carter. He's our legal attorney for our case, or I should say for our dispute with Carroll Electric. So Jason.
Thank you. I'm Jason Carter, and I'm the General Counsel for Arkansas Municipal Power Association. You are a member of the Arkansas Municipal Power Association, as are 14 other cities in Arkansas, I should say the 14 other cities in Arkansas that own their own electric utilities. Congratulations on that. Most other cities in Arkansas at some point in time sold their systems off, were afraid to delve into the business or for whatever reason, and they've given up their rights, which basically are too difficult to achieve now. It's only those cities that held on to those rights for so long that are able to run their own electric utilities, provide those services to their communities. And I'm proud to say we do such a good job of it. We, including you, do such a good job of it. We're more reliable. We have a lower cost. We're more responsive to our customers than anyone else. And I'm just really proud of that, and I'm proud of you for doing that. So I wanted to mention that to you. Part of my job as General Counsel is not only advising our organization, our Arkansas Municipal Power organization as a whole, but also working with individual utilities when they have specialized needs that arise that are often beyond the typical things that our municipal attorneys, who I work hand in glove with. I used to be a city attorney myself back in the day. I spent a little time doing that. But it's beyond the realm that they typically work in. So I get involved in these, and I'm glad to help the city of Siloam Springs with the issue that you're facing now. And we try to have a narrative of that issue within the resolution that's before you, that you've operated a utility since 1903, that in 1935, in 1939, there was a line drawn around the city that defined your rural service territory. We believe that that was an enforceable line, and Carroll Electric was a party to that back in 1930. I mean, it was none of us at the table there, right? None of them at the table there, but back in 1939. But this was when Carroll Electric was establishing their territory, right? These agreements were made. And then over the years, we felt like they had encroached upon that territory and had talked about it and really didn't feel like we were getting to a solution. And a couple of years ago, we said, look, it's time that we resolve this issue. It's gone on for decades, and we need to resolve this issue. And that's when Resolution 6323 was adopted by this board, and that said, hey, let's go to the APSC and file a complaint and see if we can't get this sorted out. What we learned in that first proceeding, and that was that docket number 24066 that you can see cited there, was that back in 1939, when the agreement was made with Carroll Electric about service territory, the city of Siloam Springs, the people who were here at that time, never had that actually filed and approved by the Arkansas Public Service Commission, at least to the extent that we could find any record. The APSC had no record of it, and I worked with the city attorney who was here at the time to diligently search records. We couldn't find a record of it. So the determination of the Arkansas Public Service Commission is that the area, the rural area around the city of Siloam Springs had never been properly allocated to the city. And so they opened a new docket to say, how should this area be allocated? Who's going to serve it? Is it going to be us, or is it going to be Carroll Electric?
Jason, you're talking about the one that was last year?
Yes.
That they did not solidify?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was, right, that was the initial proceeding. So now a new proceeding was launched by the PSC themselves. We didn't file it, they created it themselves.
This year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we were made a party to that. Because we have service, you know, we provide service within that area, so we were identified as a necessary party. And it's given us some guidance as to working together, how we might work together with Carroll Electric to identify what areas might be best served by us and what areas might be best served by them. And the conclusion that we've reached on that, and I think that we've negotiated in good faith, both us and Carroll Electric have negotiated in good faith on that point. And that can be seen on the map that I think is on the screen and is also been distributed in your packets. And let me give you a narrative about what those lines mean. So there's a yellow line that looks most internal, and that is the city of Siloam Springs. That's your municipal boundary. And of course, you serve everything that is within your municipal boundary. There is the blue line that surrounds, you can see kind of outside the city, and that shows rural area contiguous to the city that was subject to the 1939 agreement. And if you rewind to 2 years ago, I think our initial marching orders from this board were go file the complaint, establish our territory. And that's what we sought to do. I'm trying to, I want to report back to you where we're at and where we think we're moving forward. The red line shows the boundary with which we have tentatively agreed to with Carroll Electric, subject to your approval. A few things that I want to point out to you with that red line. You can see that there are areas where the red line is pulled back from the original blue line, that expected 1939 agreement. You'll see several places where it's pulled back, sometimes jaggedly, sometimes boldly. Don't pay as much attention to the Ozark Electric area. They're not really pertinent to this debate. But you can see along the edge, and then particularly in the eastern area of the city, there's a pretty sizable chunk that was surrounded by the 1939 agreement that is now not, right? It's pulled back to the red line, closer to the city boundary. On the other hand, if you'll look to further north, you can see areas that are outside of the blue boundary. So these are net gains for the city, increases in your territory size. Also to the north and to the west, you can see some increases to the net area, service area of the city. And then along the border, you know, in as much as we had concerns about about Carroll Electric having incursions into the city's territory, the more we investigated it, we found kind of historic incursions that we had into their territory. And this would resolve all of those matters. So where you see where where our areas are now extended beyond the blue line, this would correct that, right? And it would establish that area as the city's territory and support our continued service there and development as it goes. So with that, I'd say by agreeing to this territory, which I recommend, there would be an exchange of about 9 customers that we have that are outside of the city, about 9 meters for 9 meters. And we've identified the ones that we think that we needed to exchange soonest based on our projected growth of the city, about which ones needed to be swapped out the soonest, that made the most sense to us and made the most sense from a mapping standpoint. So there's about 9 meters that would swap out. But this is a $0 exchange, and it's not a net loss of customers to the city. Assuming that you guys approve of this settlement, I believe Carroll's governing body will approve of it, and I believe that the Arkansas Public Service Commission will approve of it, and this will become the agreement. This does not limit your growth as a city, having this agreement in place. You can continue to grow as a city. You can continue to expand your territory by annexation, as you always have. That law still exists. So as you annex new territory, even if it goes beyond the red line, that'll be just fine. That'll be just fine. And within that, those red areas, annexation is not required. You can just continue to expand and serve new areas as customers move in and request it. So with that, I'll pause and answer any questions you might have. Yes, sir.
What you just addressed in terms of future growth of the city, Jason, what would occur then if we were to, and the previous annexation was more northeast, it was out in this area. This is a big wide open area here.
Yes, sir.
And without really knowing where Carroll is, what would we do in terms of growing that way? Is it that time you have to discuss buyout of what is there from whoever?
Sure. So let's talk about how that works. So if you annex property and you want to provide electric service, and I would encourage you to do that, to always think about electric service whenever you're annexing territory. The easiest, most common method to acquire the territory is under 14-207-101. Those are the statutes. And they provide a formula through which buyout occurs.
Yep.
And there's a timing mechanism. So as soon as annexation occurs, I would recommend to you to send notice immediately. To the utility, we intend to serve this area that was just annexed. That triggers a 6-month time period for which they have to provide you a price point, right? And say, this is our price to purchase our facilities, to reconductor around the area if that needs to be done, right, for any reconductoring costs. And then kind of one of the bigger points of compensation is the 355% multiplier.
Yep.
And it's a big, it can be a big number, right? It can be a big number. So the advantage with that area is it's very wide open. I don't think that there's a high meter count in that area right now. So if you were to annex that area for future development,
It'd be
then-
cheapest.
Right,
now.
the 355% multiplier would not be significant, right? And compared to what development occurs. So if you contrast that with neighborhoods that are already built in, already developed, then, your ability to recover the funds that are required to purchase the service territory is very challenging. And then you get faced with the decision over pushing those costs onto other customers, if that's a fair thing to do. So then you get into some policy decisions about whether or not you think you ought to do that.
Yeah, and then you said don't even really worry about the Ozark Electric. How did they get, are they servicing customers in this little notch next to the state line?
I believe they are. So I think that piece of that territory that's identified there came about in 1981 in a territory allocation from 1981 and they have territory that runs also across into Oklahoma, which the city has a few customers over there, across the line, where it's been there since time immemorial, basically. We have facilities there since time immemorial, and meaning it's a long, long time that service has been provided. And it just doesn't make sense for anybody else to serve it. So those have been.
I just noticed it was within the blue line that you said was
It is.
set many, many years ago, and so that's why I didn't know.
Well, we thought it was set, but turns out it wasn't.
Why would we want to keep all of this here when this is mostly just empty territory as well?
So it's
Right.
right. It's pretty wide open, but we do have a fair number of customers in that area.
Okay.
I don't know that I can give you an accurate meter count as to exactly how many are down there, but we do have a large. It's a fairly significant number of customers, and I think that the majority of that property is owned by one owner, who could build that into a significant development. They could be sizable. The city reaches down there, it's starting to grow down there to a point where annexation could be possible, and.
So all the little jaggies that we see along the red line, even some that kind of like overlap and then come back around,
Right.
they're within the blue line, but it's cutting the blue line back to the red line.
Right.
Why would we do that? Is just in terms of balancing the customers out
Yeah, and-
to be almost nil?
Yeah, and thank you for asking that too, because this is an important point, and it's an important point in the resolution that I'm asking you to approve, because there are a couple of areas in here where we did what I would call intense horse trading. And there's some that we could probably stand to do some more horse trading to clean these lines up. But we haven't done that yet. And one of the things I've asked in this resolution, I'll say I asked because I'm the guy that I wrote it, but that the city administrator would be authorized to make amendments to the map,
Good.
as long as it's a zero customer. As long as we're not losing a net number of customers, then we can still horse trade with Carol and say, okay, what makes sense for you guys and what makes sense for us. One of the things that we found with some of this, and where we really wanted to clean it up and trade out a little bit, is because it's hard to figure out who serves whom. And when you have a major outage, that can cause problems, and it can cause safety concerns, especially you bring in workers from the outside, and, the last thing you'd ever want to do is we tell them back from SCADA, hey, we've turned that switch off, and they get up to work on a line, and it's not our line, it's somebody else's line, and they lay hands on it.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
so
Wow.
I don't think that you would hope that they would test that on the front end, but nevertheless, the risk is so great that, where we can create a safer environment, anywhere where we can do that, we need to explore that.
And the last thing I was going to point out, in the resolution that we have to vote tonight, just for the public's knowledge, we have it listed here as a whereas Carroll has violated the rural territory order by extending service into the city's territory 235 times. I mean, that's not a small number, and the
It's
public needs to know that this is the big reason that we have been having to finally address this.
Yes, and really, it was the source of our consternation from the very beginning was, we believed our 1939 agreement to be an order and enforceable, and we, so we're justifiably upset, I'd say. Now, we've since then found out that there were apparently I's that were not dotted and T's that were not crossed. And that's okay. We've been able to negotiate our way through that. And I think still end up with a boundary that approximates in area anyway, the boundary that we started with.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Brad.
So I'm going to use an example would be if we go over by Airport Road to our far east and to the north, that far boundary there. It's at the very end of the airport. We're about to annex that in.
Yeah.
All the way to Bill Young Road.
Okay.
So how is that going to work if they already have lines set up there and development happens?
Yeah.
Do they bear that cost as we extend it, because I'm assuming
Yeah.
we pass it? Will they assume that cost having to move, or how's that work in partnership?
So under 14-207-101, that's going to be the applicable statute. And it's going to tell you, and under 104, I think is the compensation formula. I'm going to screw that up as soon as I say it. It's 103 or 104.
Write them both down.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's 104. But it's going to give you the list of damages to be paid when you take over a service territory. So some of it is, they've got a line there, well, we would buy that line from them. So we would use that line, right, whenever we move in, when we annex that territory. If they have to reconductor, then we would bear that cost. If they've got to work around it, then we've got to pay for the cost of the workaround. In some areas some cities I work with, we don't ever buy their stuff, especially if it's got to pass completely through our area. We just say, you just keep it. We'll build our own facilities, and we'll build parallel to you. But if it's just a dead end radial, then we'll buy it. We'll take it over. We'll hook up on one end, unhook them from the other end, and we'll use those facilities. We'll buy their customers from them. And like we talked about, there's that 355% multiplier, which is a tough pill to swallow, except that when you're annexing, when you're annexing rural territory, you believe there's going to be infill, right? That there's going to be a bigger meter count. There's going to be more customers demanding service, possibly commercial and industrial customers, so that you'll be able to recoup that 355% of gross revenues, and that's 355% times their gross revenue from the previous year, from the area annexed, okay? But when infill occurs, you'll be able to recoup that in short order.
Well, I'm going to believe you, but I'm going to say, ouch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah. And don't let me act like I like that. I don't like it. I don't like that rule. It's the law, but I don't like
I
it.
rely on Phil. He'll be honest with you
Yeah.
when it starts to hurt.
Yeah.
And then the area Director Allen was speaking of, that's very open to the south of Ozark Electric. So, and I'm looking at a app here, my map, and that looks like that runs, does it run all the way down to Welka? And that's all, the old Lake Francis, that old Lake Francis out there?
Yes.
That's what that is, right? Okay. I think that's,
So you can
Looks
see
like a bunch
where,
of forest to me is why I had asked.
where
So,
the,
thank you.
where the blue line came down and angled across and, came straight across horizontally and down. The red line angles now and clips off those two corners. Carroll Electric currently has facilities in those two corners, and they're difficult for us to get to anyway. So it just made sense to kind of clip those bottom two corners off. I think there's a missing kind of red line connecting them there, but, or it's the wrong color or something. But those lines are supposed to be connected.
well, we're wise, I mean, we don't see it now, but most of that's owned by Northwest Arkansas Land Trust, and it is in conservation. Having said that, there are portions of there that, could be, have the potential and parcels to be developed, but I just want to make sure that's what I was seeing, so thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Anyone else? David?
Madam Mayor, thank you. I was just going to address what Brad had brought up a moment ago. On 59, are we on our last reading for that annexation that's headed up north? It goes along 59, right?
Yes.
So in terms of that, by allowing the city administrator to adjust this before it's all permanent on the colored lines, if we're about to annex, we could adjust that line along and take in according to the city limit line.
Yeah, if we do that before the map gets finalized, that can be a point of negotiation with Carroll just to make it easier.
Yeah.
If we've gone ahead and annexed it,
Yeah.
then we would put that on the table certainly
Okay.
as something where we can just say, hey, while we're trading customer for customer, there may be another spot here where we can
That's
trade
what I'm
out.
wondering, because our third reading is Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
And then what, it goes into effect in 30 days, is that right? So
With you,
it's quite a bit of acreage.
with 14207, 101, your time frame in which you can take it easily, just with a letter is 3 years. Now,
I just didn't know if we could adjust the line before we finalize this, or is this the final that will be in a settlement?
I think we still have the flexibility to adjust it, but you need to know that Carroll needs to agree to that.
Right,
and-
right,
Right,
okay.
so, and, so if they were giving up customers in that area, right now, we've just been trading customer for customer. So if we did that, I think they may be perfectly agreeable to that.
It's a big, wide open piece of land anyway. I don't think there's a whole lot of customers there right now, but
I don't think there are.
since it will be changing our city limits is why I was wondering.
Yeah, so either we'll see if we can't swap out customers, or if not, then it would put us under the statute where we would acquire the service territory that way.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Lisa.
What is our ordinance that requires utilities within the city limits? Like, don't we have an ordinance that states, so how does that affect it if we annex it in and in the 3 years, we do not buy them out or trade them? How does that affect the ordinance that we have in place?
Our ordinance would require us to buy them out.
Okay, so we do have that clarified. Okay,
Yeah, so from a staff level, that was my understanding, is that you had an ordinance that mandated
yeah.
that your city utility would provide electric service. So it's a great ordinance to have. And
No, there was a multi-million-dollar cost associated with that last annexation vote, right? I think we all knew how much it would end up costing the city, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and that keeps your citizens under equitable treatment. You know what I mean? Because that's been one of our arguments too, about the value of having municipal governments, municipal service. You know, we believe in democracy. Any person out there who is aggrieved by their service is able to, they've got a forum to complain about it. They don't have to try to go to Little Rock and deal with it. They can deal with it right here. You know, there are just a lot of intangibles that go with being served by a municipal utility. If legally, you know, you could do away with that ordinance, you could allow somebody else to serve within your city limits, but then those citizens wouldn't have those rights, that same ability to seek redress. You know, so I applaud you on having that ordinance, and I hope that you'll keep it. And from that standpoint, the staff would be required to, you know, that once the annexation occurs, comply with the ordinance, send the notice and say, hey, we've annexed it, this is our ordinance, we're assuming service. It'll give that utility 6 months to negotiate with us over what the price is. After that 6-month period, you can declare eminent domain and just take it.
I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between us being a provider and why are we not buying directly from Carroll Electric? Why do we not have our customers? I don't think a lot of citizens realize the benefit of us owning our own electricity. And it provides those extra things like the police and the fire and the parks. And it gives where some cities miss out on opportunities because they do not have that funding. But it's not just about providing electricity, it's about providing a city as a whole.
It is, and, you know, you can, I always love to talk to people like that because I drink the Kool-Aid. I believe in it. I believe in public power because I believe in democracy, you know, and municipal government is democracy in the trenches. This is where it goes down, right here. And, you know, we are government by the people and for the people. And if you believe in that and you believe we can do it ourselves, then this is where it happens, and we can provide our own utility service. We can do that, and we can do it well, you know. And like I said, for across the board in Arkansas, municipal utilities have the lowest outage rate. We're the most reliable. We're the most responsive, and we're the lowest cost, you know. And while we're supporting other functions in the city, every dollar that comes in to that utility either goes to provide the utility service or to provide some other public service within the city. And you got to feel good about that.
Madam Mayor,
You through, Lisa? Yep. David?
I was going to follow up on that, Jason. So many of the customers who gripe about what you're talking about, Lisa, I mean, we've had a tremendous amount of growth in 15 years. Mm-hmm. And they do not recall 15 years ago, we had one of the biggest, deepest snowstorms we've ever had. 4 foot, well, 3.5, but it was Carroll customers that were out 2.5 to 3 weeks, and it was Siloam customers who were back in power within 3 to 4 days. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that people easily forget, is that what they're paying for, they're going to be valuing that down the road when there is the emergency that companies like Carroll, doesn't Carroll also serve Oklahoma?
They do.
A lot.
Well, I think that they're multi-state.
Yeah.
Rural electric cooperatives, they're nonprofits.
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves aligned from an interest standpoint on a lot of things. You know, they're often challenged by their number of customers per mile versus where we are, where we're dense and we're able, and then responsible with the dollars that we receive. Siloam Springs has high reliability numbers. You know, those are SAIDI and SAFE numbers.
We've always been proud of that because of how proactive our electric department is.
Yeah. And that's not cheap.
No, but they take pride in their job. Every employee in electric knows how important it is, and they take pride. There were some customers in Oklahoma with Carroll that were out for 4 weeks, And it's just one of those things, you cannot imagine having no electricity for a month. And that's back, you know, you might as well get out the candles and Pioneer Days. And within 5 days, every customer was back up, back in 15 years ago.
That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyone else? If not, Jason, thank you very much for being here and for
Thank
your
you, Mayor.
presentation and for the work you've done on behalf of the city. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Yes. So, directors, Christina, anything else you would like to say? Any
I think
comments?
he covered pretty much everything.
Okay. Phil? No, sir? Well then, directors, I will ask you if I have a motion to approve resolution number 39-25 as presented, reminding you that this is a map that is substantially similar to the one attached in Exhibit A, but that you are giving the administrator the authority, if she needs to make negotiations with that boundary, that she can do so.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Is there public comment
No.
on, we
No.
don't have that public comment? Okay.
No.
I just want to make sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Not during special meetings.
No.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
We have a second, motion and a second. Roll call.
Burns,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Motion is approved by the majority, and we thank you very much, everyone, for being here and for going through this with us. And we look forward to the future.
It's funny to hear how long this has taken, in that I do recall when we joined this group
Yes.
in late '23.
And aren't we glad we did?
Yes, but I'm just saying, it's funny that the '24 docket never really, but we're thankful that Jason's following up now, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. We are adjourned.